Guys, come back at you today. I apologize that not all of the presentation could be shown yesterday. Technology is not perfect, as we know, and if you read the description, you'd see that the other iPad I was recording with basically ran out of juice, and so stopped recording a little bit into the Q&A. But something that I can show you that I was hoping to show during the presentation was the PowerPoint that I had to accompany it, just to reiterate what I was speaking about in terms of examples via pictures of people's true life experiences with issues with neuromodulation. I start out with that first PowerPoint slide of basically a before and after pain management. I came to them with CRPS in my left leg, and after my second nerve block, it spread to my entire body from the chest down, and that's how I earned all those scars, I suppose. The next is the first way that I emphasize the fact that migration is a ginormous fear that I've had, that everyone else has too, and I show my experience. Thankfully, did not end in the need for revision, but many do. And I have wondered, if I had leads instead of a paddle, would my leads have moved along with those wires? Or was it because my paddle was secured enough that nothing moved? But in the next examples, unfortunately, these people weren't okay. The first had, it appears to be one lead that migrated, and in the second one, there's an arrow that shows where both leads started, and you'll notice both moved down, one further than the other. The next slide was something really sort of an outlier, an individual. Her leads migrated to her hip and tangled around her battery, and her surgeon was so impressed that they took a picture in the OR. Next comes paddle migration, something that I honestly didn't think was possible. But as you can see, the paddle is floating away from the spine. We're told that because you get a laminectomy, everything is sealed in place, but apparently not always. And then we have battery migration. I guess in some cases, batteries aren't anchored down well enough, or the pocket they're put in isn't far enough away from the spine, and those two examples show what can happen. Once we finish up with migration, we go to infection, something that we've been told is, happens in 1% of patients, but I believe, and even the people I was speaking with yesterday believe, that it is very much underreported. I've had an infection myself, as you see. On the left side is sort of the progression, how things started. That top left picture, that was me in the office. Clearly red, clearly with an infection that was spreading, but went ignored. And then we went downwards and had drainage, and then things just opened wide up. And unfortunately, I had a complication on top of the complication, and the Bactrim, which was one of the two antibiotics I was on, I ended up having a delayed reaction. I was taking a sponge bath and noticed a couple of spots, and by lunchtime there was blistering around my incisions, and it traveled to my face, and I did go to the ER, but was not able to be treated because my surgeon didn't want them to treat me with prednisone, because that could reverse the healing taking place where my infection was. And as you can see from the pictures, I suffered greatly from Friday morning till Monday morning, basically burning alive. The next slide is an individual. Unfortunately, her infection went all the way to meningitis, and she missed her final semester of college. The next was the woman whose lead literally popped out of her back. She'd been telling the doctor that, something didn't seem right, but it was pushed off. As many of us have experienced, she bent over and had spinal fluid leaking out. And there was the lead. She was scheduled for emergency surgery because that is very, very, very dangerous in terms of infection. And this all just drove home the fact that people are literally willing to risk their lives in order to obtain pain relief. And that brought me to my final slide that I sort of tried at least to connect the dots in terms of, any surgery carries the possibility of infection. And so if we can make changes that, for example, batteries don't need to be replaced as often, and leads do not migrate or break as often. So it requires less surgeries, and less surgery means less infection, which means less of a possibility of death. So honestly, improving the security of leads can save lives, which is pretty incredible, and I was glad I was able to share these insights. So I guess that about wraps it up. Just wanted to show you what the group of people I was talking to was seeing, and I hope it sort of enhances your understanding of what I was talking about. I guess that's about it, guys. Hope you have a happy Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.